Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess named Snow White. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips as red as blood, and her hair as black as ebony. She was kind, gentle, and loved by all who knew her. However, her stepmother, the queen, was envious of her beauty and sought to be the fairest in the land. Every day, the queen would ask her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every day, the mirror would reply, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." But one day, the mirror answered, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen's jealousy turned into rage, and she commanded a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. But the huntsman, moved by Snow White's innocence and beauty, could not harm her. Instead, he told her to flee into the woods and never return to the castle. Lost and frightened, Snow White wandered through the dark forest until she came upon a small cottage. Inside, she found 7 tiny beds and a table set for 7. Exhausted, she lay down on one of the beds and fell into a deep sleep. When the owners of the cottage returned home, they were astonished to find Snow White. They were 7 dwarfs named Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. Snow White told them her story, and the dwarfs offered her shelter in exchange for helping them with their household chores. Meanwhile, the queen discovered that Snow White was still alive. Furious, she disguised herself as an old peddler woman and went to the dwarf's cottage. She offered Snow White a poisoned apple. Trusting the old woman, Snow White took a bite and fell into a deep, death-like sleep. The dwarfs were heartbroken when they found Snow White. They placed her in a glass coffin in the forest, where she lay as if she were merely sleeping. One day, a prince who had heard of Snow White's beauty came to see her. Overcome with love, he kissed her, breaking the spell. Snow White awoke and the two fell in love. Snow White and the prince returned to his kingdom, where they were married and lived happily ever after. The wicked queen, upon learning of Snow White's revival and marriage, was consumed by her own jealousy and disappeared, never to be seen again. And so, Snow White and the 7 dwarfs remained forever friends, their bond unbroken by the trials they had faced. They all lived happily ever after in the enchanted forest, a testament to the enduring power of kindness, love, and friendship.